Hi all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to talk about my thoughts on the Braylen Noble case. But before I begin, I really want to thank everyone who has subscribed to my channel, watched my videos, liked my videos, and commented on them. I know there are a bazillion YouTube channels you could watch, and I love that you choose to watch mine. I want you to know that I appreciate your comments too. I like hearing your thoughts on cases. You make me think. I know I'm small beans as far as YouTubers go, but my channel is starting to grow and I'm getting excited, and it's all because of you. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank you for making me feel like I'm doing something interesting or important to you. Viewers are everything to YouTube because regardless of how good our content may be, if you don't watch it, it doesn't matter. So, again, thank you. You encourage me to keep going, and that means the world to me. That makes you awesome, just so you know. Okay, precious Braylen. We've had a day to digest that he's no longer with us, even though, as the days passed, we all started to lose hope. Having it confirmed was still awful. I've been watching the videos that people have posted from yesterday, both when he was found and from the vigil later in the evening. And one thing I'm getting from everyone is anger. People are very angry, sad, and angry. We're sick and tired of our children dying under suspicious circumstances. It tears our hearts out and leaves us less trusting of this world. I know it does me. Most of us have formed opinions about what we think happened to little Braylen, or we're racking our brains trying to understand it. I think we need to talk about it. That's what I'm going to do in this video, and that is what I'd like you to do in the comments. You deserve to be heard too. Lord knows you listen to me enough. Just because you may not have a YouTube channel doesn't mean that you can't engage in polite discussion with others about this case. And if you need to, do it. I approve all comments before they post, so please know that I will not let anyone bully you for having a differing opinion. It's not going to happen. Hell, you might not even agree with me, but I will respect that. I can agree to disagree, especially since none of us has all the facts and we're just speculating at this point. Why bother speculating? Because it gives us somewhere to put the feelings of anger, frustration, and sadness that we're experiencing. Which brings me to the first thing I want to say. 99.9% of the posts I'm reading on the internet are blaming Braylen's mother or grandmother or both. Not gonna lie, I want to blame them too. Hell, I do blame them. But, from what I understand at this point, neither has been arrested, and I guess they were taken from their apartment for their own safety. Now, I don't know what you think happened, but I'm going to tear this case apart bit by bit with what I know, and I'm going to give it to you straight. Why? Because it needs to be done. We all know Mom's story doesn't add up. We all know she hasn't acted how we expected her to act, and we all know she looks guilty. We want to blame her. It's the most logical explanation that we can conclude at this point. It makes sense to us. It gives us someone to hate and direct our anger toward because we need it. I need it. But, and here's where you all click off and I spend the rest of the video talking to myself. But we're all adults here. And at least we should be. If you're under 18, you shouldn't be on my channel. Sorry. And we need to look at this from all angles. Not just Mom. Not because I think she's innocent, but because at this point we don't know. So, I expect that I will be going back and forth between Mom or someone else throughout this as I evaluate the facts, and I hope you understand that it's important to do this. Because if anyone else is actually responsible for Braylen's death, we want them punished. So, I'm going to start from the beginning and see where I go with this. I'm going to state what I know to be fact and share some rumors that I've heard as well. Just because they're rumors doesn't mean they aren't true. Here we go. We know that Braylen was reported missing last Friday afternoon. I posted the 911 call in a previous video, so if you haven't heard it yet, you can go back and listen to it. News reports say that Braylen's grandmother made the call. If you listen to the call, the woman talking to 911 doesn't know Braylen's last name, the accurate address where they are, how his name is spelled, or what Braylen was wearing when he went missing. If in fact she is Braylen's grandmother, it is disturbing that she doesn't know his last name or the spelling of his first name. She first spells it Lin, then corrects it to Len. I gather from the fact that she got the address wrong that she doesn't live with Braylen, and I want to conclude from the fact that she didn't know what he was wearing that she didn't see him before he disappeared. This to me is important, because if she is the grandma who was supposedly in the apartment with Braylen and his mother, she may have not seen Braylen at all before his mother says he disappeared. Now please understand, I'm not saying that she should have memorized his clothing if she saw him, but it was reported that he was wearing a Mickey Mouse shirt. I think she would at least notice that and be able to say that, even if she didn't remember what color it was. And she states on the call that he fell out the window. She doesn't say we think he fell out the window. She said he fell out of the window. Now, I wasn't there. I have zero idea how this all went down. If I give Mom the benefit of the doubt, maybe she was looking around and yelled to Grandma to call 911. I don't know. But judging from the fact that the police have said that Mom can be heard in the background of the call, it doesn't sound to me like she's too far away from Grandma when the call is made. She's heard crying and answering Grandma's questions, which means she didn't tell Grandma to call so she could go search. She was right there. So, when I play this out in my mind, it goes like this. If Grandma doesn't live there, maybe she just went over. Maybe she surprised Braylen's mom. So knowing she would ask where Braylen was, Mom had to think quick on her feet. She acted panicked, said Braylen fell out of the window and that he was gone. Maybe after helping Mom search for him for about 30 minutes, Grandma called 911 on her own. To me, that would explain why she didn't know what he was wearing. She hadn't seen him. And that would be why she'd say he fell out of the window, because that was what she was told. How she doesn't know how to spell Braylen's name and doesn't know his last name, I have no answers for. Unless the news got it wrong and she wasn't the grandmother. Either way, it sounds to me like she's conveying information that she was told. Now, whether it's true or not, we heard that Grandma was in the kitchen or living room and Mom was out on the back balcony. This may be true. If Braylen's mom said that Braylen was napping when Grandma got there, of course she wouldn't want to wake him. So maybe she just waited. I could be completely wrong, but when she was on the 911 call, she didn't sound like she knew too much. Only what she had been told. Remember, I'm just thinking out loud here. I don't recall if we were told who realized Braylen was gone. I believe I assumed it was his mother, since she said the window screen was bent, and she didn't think he could sneak by both her and his grandmother to get out. If she did have anything to do with his disappearance, and that was the story she was going to tell, she could have been that screen beforehand, or she could have bent that screen beforehand, so she'd be ready to jump into that story about him falling at any moment. After all, someone was going to ask about him eventually. Now, I don't know how their window screens are in their windows, but I have a hell of a time trying to get mine out. I have in every house I've lived in. And maybe I'm not stronger than a 3-year-old, but I don't think I could easily bend a window screen with a frame on it without stepping on it. But that might just be me. Don't come for me in the comments. So, story looks fishy to me at this point. Now, I read this online, so consider it rumor. Someone from a neighboring apartment posted online that they usually heard Braylen and his mom coming and going, and they could hear him cry from time to time. They said as of Tuesday, the Tuesday before Braylen went missing, they never heard anything from him. They said they heard her yelling, him crying, and then nothing the following days. If this is true, this could be significant. If she, in fact, did something to him on Tuesday, she had until Friday to hide his body and come up with her story. With no one suspecting anything at the time, it wouldn't have been difficult to carry him out in a clothes basket under some clothes or in a bag or something. I have not heard any reports or read that anyone has come forward to say that they saw Braylen in the days before he went missing. Now, I read that Mom did not have a vehicle. Not sure if this is true or not. If it is, she wouldn't have been able to take him far. Or she could have borrowed someone's vehicle if she moved him. I wonder if anyone loaned her their car for a bit and didn't think anything of it. The reason why I question this is because I also read a rumor that one of Braylen's grandmothers had a storage unit across the street or close by. That would have been a perfect place to store his body until she figured out what to do with him. Let's go back to her story to the police. She claims she was out on her back deck when Braylen went missing. We don't know what she was doing. She may have just been sitting and relaxing, we don't know. But what if she was out there smoking, or on the phone with someone and she wanted privacy from the grandmother? What if Braylen was in the bathtub and she got distracted with whatever she was doing and he drowned? Again, me just thinking out loud. But if she or grandma found him, she may have panicked and feared she'd go to jail, so she or they covered it up. That would explain to me why Braylen would be found in the pool days after the police and the FBI said they already searched the pool with divers. I don't believe for 1 second that they searched that pool and missed him. Not buying it. But moving him there and having him found in the water would make sense to someone who knows he already drowned. So it would look like he drowned in the pool. Of course, you'd have to not be aware of the fact that they can test to see the type of water he drowned in. So if no chemicals are detected, they'll figure it out. I've had so many comments from people asking how the hell the pool wasn't searched before. Police say it was. Besides, there's a tall gate around the pool, and he couldn't have gotten in unless someone let him in. Now, regarding the pool. Yesterday, after Braylen's body was located, a number of people at the complex took photos and videos of an area of the pool gate that was bent open. It looks like iron bars were bent open, enough for a child to squeeze through. But, in my opinion, if Braylen squeezed through them and drowned in the pool, he would have been found when the divers searched. Many people have asked if the pump was on in the pool, so Braylen could have been held down in the water by the suction. According to the apartment complex, the pool had been closed for quite some time, so no pump was running. Another video someone posted showed freshly laid dirt all along the grass in the area where the bars of the pool gate were bent. They suggested that it may have been there to cover any footprints left there. This is just rumor. But someone did say online that an adult squeezed through the bent bars to show a news reporter that it could be done. So, that would explain how whoever placed Braylen in the pool did it. Yes, I believe he was placed there. Either to be found to end the searching, or thinking he wouldn't be found there since the pool had already been extensively searched. I believe he was placed there because 1, I don't believe he fell out of a third-story window, got up, and went on his merry way to the pool. 2, I don't believe he was missed during the search of the pool. And 3, I hate to even say this, but if he had been submerged in water since last Friday, his pull-up wouldn't still be intact. There are photos of the recovery of Braylen's body online, and I happened to be in a group where photos were shared. Not that I wanted to see, but I wanted to know if his pull-up was still on, and it was. Anybody who's ever taken a child into water with a regular pull-up, not the ones for swimming, but a regular diaper or pull-up, knows that it absorbs the water, gets super heavy, and falls off or disintegrates. There's no way he was in that water for days. If the final autopsy results confirm that he passed from accidental drowning in the pool, I will be shocked. That would mean that little boy either did fall 3 stories, got up and walked over to the pool, either scaled the pool fence or squeezed through the gate and drowned without anyone seeing or hearing a thing, or he snuck past both Mom and Grandma, opened the door, left, closed the door behind him so no one would notice, walked through a second door to the outside, because usually apartment buildings have a main door as well, walked over to the pool, scaled the fence, or squeezed through the gate, and drowned, and nobody saw a thing. Which is entirely possible. Or hell, he just flew out the window, over the pool gate, and into the water. But, remember, if we believe these stories, then we also have to buy that he was missed during the search of the pool. Now you're just asking too much of me. I don't buy Mom's story that he fell. I don't believe he wouldn't have been hurt and crying. I don't trust the fact that first it was that he fell, then it changed to he must have fallen because I can't figure anything else. So, fall is a no-go for me. And I'm sorry, but to me, that just exhibits a level of stupidity that I cannot comprehend. To think that people would actually buy that. And if it is supposed to look like he was in the pool all along, that is also a no-go for me, for the reasons I mentioned before. So, back to the drawing board. Could he have snuck past Mom and Grandma and got out? I suppose. But then you're asking me to believe that a 3-year-old survived in the woods or something for days while he was being searched for and then ended up back at the pool anyway. Can't do it. Sorry. Next. Mom does no media pleas for a safe return or even to raise awareness that her baby is missing until day 4. And even then, she doesn't want to answer any questions and fake cries for the camera. No pleas for people to help search. No public thank yous to the people who already gave their time to help. Nothing. And after Braylen's body is recovered and she's escorted to the police car, she's not crying. No one is holding her up because she just received the shock of her life. She just walks out to the car and gets in. No emotion. If you ask me, she looks more concerned about her own safety as the crowd is closing in around her apartment chanting justice for Braylen and baby killer. Now, this is also rumor, but someone posted a video of a man saying he saw Braylen's mother out in the woods the night before Braylen was found. If this is true, she could have been looking for him still, or she could have been moving his body. I would think that undercover cops would have been keeping a close eye on her and the grandmother's movements after Braylen's disappearance, but who knows? Now, because I've been following the story closely, I caught a live news broadcast yesterday that started before Braylen was recovered. I found it very interesting. Although we don't know what transpired, the news reporter said that there was a larger than normal police and FBI presence at the complex. She said a man showed up with water gear and went straight to the pool. She said the maintenance man opened the gate and he entered with police. People who flew drones over the pool area said he used a long pole or a hook of sorts and pushed it around in the pool. Then she said police ordered everyone to back up and they covered the gate around the pool so no one could see, and they put crime scene tape up. Shortly after the police announced that they found Braylen, police had to have been tipped off for them to check the pool again. It seemed as though they knew right where to go, right where he was. Yes, the officer doing the press conference said it was standard to recheck areas after they were already searched, but how many times do you need to check the same pool? You already had divers in. It was already thoroughly searched. I believe they were told. They knew. And now with the preliminary autopsy results, we know that there was no obvious trauma on Braylen's body, which to me only reinforces that the story about the fall was a lie. So, here we are. He didn't fall, but he got out somehow or was removed from the apartment. He didn't survive in the woods for days and end up back at the pool, and he wasn't in the pool the entire time. So he didn't get out of the apartment on his own. All I'm left with is that he was removed from the apartment, hidden somewhere, and placed in the pool probably the night before he was found. Remember, this is just me thinking out loud. I'm not saying that this is what happened. Just what I'm putting together. I think Braylen's life was taken before he was reported missing on Friday. I think the only reason he was reported missing was because Mom had no choice at that point. Maybe Grandma insisted they call. Unless I missed something, the Grandma said they searched for about 30 minutes, but she never said how long it had been since she saw Braylen last. Neither did his mother. We heard 30 minutes, and we have in our minds that he wasn't seen for 30 minutes. Mom may have already known he was gone for days, and Grandma may not have seen him at all that day. The only thing that will ruin this theory for me is if there are 2 grandmothers, and the one on the phone doesn't live there. But I haven't heard anything about what Braylen did that morning, if he was napping when it was discovered that he was gone or anything. Shouldn't we have heard that he was just fine and playing earlier that day or something? I haven't heard anything, and I've been all over this story. So, if you've heard something, it wasn't reported in the news. It may just be rumor. Why do I believe Mom doesn't want to answer questions? Because she made up the story that he fell from the window and that's all she knows. She doesn't want to answer a bunch of questions that might make her slip up. All she knows is she found the window screen pushed out or pulled in or bent or whatever, and Braylen was gone. Easy enough to remember. I always felt that Braylen's mom was involved and that something was not being said. I thought maybe it was an accident. She tried to cover it up. It could have been. He could have drowned in the bathtub, and that's why it made sense to her to move him to the pool. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized what I thought was missing. Braylen's dad. From what I've read, he's in prison. But we don't know much more than that, do we? Are they still in a relationship? Do they get along? Does she hate him? We don't know anything. Does she love him and he doesn't love her? Does he call to talk to Braylen? Does she get mad that he's not with her and she's raising a special needs child all alone? One who is a picky eater and possibly cries a lot? I want so much to believe that Braylen's death was an accident. But if it was, in my mind, Mom would be overcome with emotion every time she thought about it. The guilt alone would have eaten her alive. But I didn't get that from her. I felt she put on a show for the camera in her 35-second news clip that she obviously didn't want to do. And she had no emotion while walking to the squad car after hearing that Braylen was found. I wouldn't even be able to hold myself up. When I read that police were evaluating the 911 call to see if she said I killed him, I thought, no way. But when I went back and listened, I heard it, and then right after, it sounds like someone asks her something about going to jail. Too coincidental? I don't believe in coincidence. And then I pictured her out on the back deck, on the phone, fighting with Braylen's father. I don't know why, but I just did. Again, this is just me thinking, but we've all heard of horrific cases of parents killing their children to hurt or pay back the other parent. I'm not saying that this is what happened, but I'm leaning toward it. That is the only way I can explain to my brain why she has displayed no real emotion. She did nothing to plead for his safe return until she was pressured into it days into the search, and why we have no real solid information about this case. Was his father even notified that he was missing? Or did he find out on the news? Was he kept informed about the search? Or was he ignored and left to wonder whether his son was dead or alive? Did he try to call her for updates during the search? Did she answer his calls? That would be a hell of a way to torture someone, wouldn't it? I mean, if he's only getting updates via the news, that would be an excellent reason not to appear on the news or to answer any questions. Because then he just suffers, not knowing anything. Twisted? Yes. Makes sense to me? Hell yeah. If you can go as far as to kill your own child, you're capable of anything, in my opinion. And you can say that she couldn't reach him to keep him informed if you want. If you don't know, I understand. But I know personally, for a fact, that prisoners can be reached and informed of special circumstances, even if it's just through their attorney. But I would imagine in a serious case like this, law enforcement could keep him updated. Hell, without going into detail, I've called a prison and sweet talked my way into getting a prisoner brought to the phone. Twice. But that's just me. I want to believe there was a horrible accident and Braylen's mom panicked and tried to cover it up. And I hope we find out that is the case. We still don't know if anyone else was involved and she's covering for them. We don't know anything. But I've seen it all too often when a parent kills their child out of vengeance. The lack of engagement during the cover-up, the lack of emotion when it should be displayed. She's too cold for me. And she looked too cocky walking out to that squad car like she wasn't even fazed by the news. So, there you have it. Think I'm nuts? Maybe. But it makes sense to me. It's the only way I can make all the puzzle pieces fit. I don't know how they determine if he was smothered or not, but considering there was no trauma to his body, I think she may have either smothered him or drowned him. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we find out that she didn't hurt him at all. But at this point, I feel she did. What do you think happened? What is your gut telling you? We may never find out either. The final autopsy may still be inconclusive and she may never talk. she may get away with it if she's guilty. Something that really bothered me, her Instagram account. From the day I found it, she never posted that Braylen was missing. People were on it asking her where her son was, and she just ignored them. I also read that she deleted her Facebook. Two fast and efficient ways to spread the word that her child was missing. For those of you who don't know, many prisoners are granted internet access depending on their crimes. Bonus ways to torture his father in case he was checking her accounts for information. She provided none. Just food for thought. If you stuck with me through this entire video, thank you. In case you haven't noticed, I have a lot to say. I hope you share your thoughts with me in the comments. I really appreciate when you engage with me. Whether we're right or wrong about her, I pray that the person who hurt him pays for what they did. And just for the record, even if I am completely wrong about her, she needs to pay for not acting like she cared about her precious son when he was gone. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.